Shay, welcome, and welcome to all of our members. I'm Shay and Haim. We are the Trusted Referral Network. We're a national network, US and Canada, of about 185, 190 independent marketing services professionals. We get together once a week. We usually get about 15 or 20 people. Today we have 17 to attend these meetings. The objectives of the group are to build relationships that will eventually lead to business referrals or collaborations of some sort. We have a few more people joining, so that's why I'm talking and typing at the same time. And at each of these meetings, we try to have a showcase presenter. And today, Sharon Rahmanian, who hails from the West Coast and is an expert in UX research, is going to tell us about that topic. She has 15 minutes, and then we'll each get about 2 minutes or so. Usually depends on how many people we have. There's a few more people coming in. So we have about 2 minutes each, probably, to do introductions. And that's really to get to know one another so that you can decide who you want to meet with one-on-one afterwards. And I will put the order in which people showed up more or less in the chat after the presentation so that you know when your turn is up. But Sharon, do you want to take it away? Share your screen? Do you want people to chime in verbally or ask questions via the chat, or either? What's your preference?
I do prefer verbally, but maybe if we can wait until the end, just because I want to make sure I go through the slides. Unless something doesn't make sense, you can interrupt me, but otherwise, let's save the questions for the end if possible. That
sounds great. Okay, I'm going to put my timer on. Feel free to share the screen.
Thank you. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes, we can.
All right, wonderful. So thank you everyone for joining today. We're going to talk about user research capabilities at my firm, OneSource Labs, but a little more specific, in depth into UX research. Apologies in advance. I have a lot of slides here and the last two are fun, so I want to make sure we get through those. So yeah, if you can please write down your questions and ask me at the end, that would be wonderful. So next month, May, will be our 9th anniversary, 9 years of having my own business, conducting UX research, mainly for larger Fortune 500, Fortune 100 companies, some of them through a partnership with consulting firms and digital advertising agencies. Over the years, one of our biggest differentiators is the fact that we go in and we customize a UX research plan for each project based on the project's objectives, business goals, user needs, their timeline, and budget. So we put together a customized research plan that will result in the highest return on investment for our client. And that's the biggest differentiator, because if you go to a much larger research firm, you'll see that you have to kind of choose from prepackaged products that may or may not match your objectives. Also, the fact that they take much longer, like double the timeline that we take for each study, as well as higher rates. I always think of research as not a project, as a production, because a lot of hands are involved in it. So you need like panel vendors, you need recruiting firms, testing tools, and things like that. My company has partnerships established with all of these firms. So when it comes down to doing a project, my clients just write one contract with me, approve the pass-through costs, and I just anything that's outside of our firm is treated as a pass-through cost with no markups. And you can see on the right the different types of industries that we have worked at. If you go to my website, you'll see a lot more, and also examples of clients in each industry. But we have worked with almost every single industry in terms of conducting research. This is a sample of our clients. It's obviously not every single one, but the ones that are more well known, and you can see how it's kind of spread out in different types of industry, because the principles of research are always the same. You want to get an understanding of the project phase, the design phase, the objectives, business goals, and also who the users are, and then you put together a research plan accordingly. I'll go through these, and I may have to skip some slides, but in general, you see that bulleted list. It's all the different types of research that can be conducted from the discovery phase all the way through the end. These are the higher umbrellas. I do have slides on each of these to go a little more in depth, but basically qualitative and quantitative types of studies, and there's some overlap. So they could be conducted in person or remote. Since COVID, the majority have been happening remote, but it is possible to do them in person. They could also be moderated, whether it's in person or remote, or unmoderated, when you rent a testing software that kind of handles the session with the participant. We also conduct field research. We test on tablets, mobile app, websites, heuristic evaluation or expert analysis. Content organization, content finding, which is like kind of under the studies called card sorting and tree test. I do have slides on each of these. Hopefully we'll have time to go through them, and then online surveys. But there's a lot more. There are a lot more different ways that you can conduct research during the design phase. I'll skip this one because most people by now know the benefits of conducting UX research, but I do want to spend a minute here to talk about the return on investment. The rule of thumb is for every dollar you would spend during the design phase to fix a usability issue, you would spend $10 during development and $100 post-launch. So we always recommend to start early. You'll see in the upcoming slides, we can even test with like a paper prototype or a very low fidelity clickable prototype. So you incorporate testing throughout the life cycle of the product, and that's when you get the highest return on investment. Quickly going through the types of qualitative research generally, and we're focusing on UX research now. This is not market research where they do like group focus groups and group interviews. They are one-on-one. So the facilitator and the participant can be in the same room. If it's being conducted in person, I'm going to switch to the next slide quickly, because the same type of study can be conducted remotely, where the facilitator is, at their office and the participant is at their natural environment, and observers can view the sessions live if needed. So going back to the in-person, the one-on-one studies allow you to probe and learn a lot of, so we give participants tasks and questions to complete with whatever interface they're working with. And it allows us to probe, ask them the reasons why as they're going through it and as they come across difficulties completing their tasks. One of the benefits of conducting the same type of study remotely is because the audience, which is your sample representation of the client's customers, can be geographically dispersed anywhere, nationally or even globally. And we can conduct the same type of study, again, one-on-one and facilitated. But for the remote one, you can't really test paper prototypes, but as long as you can host anything, so they can click on it, open it. It could be a very low fidelity clickable wireframe, all the way to a fully functional website or mobile app. I thought it would be important to show the timeline and deliverables. We usually say for a standard UX research, it takes anything from 4 to 6 weeks. 4 weeks if the client provides us with their own customer database, so we don't have to hire a recruiting firm. 6 weeks if we need to hire a recruiting firm to find us participants. But we usually start with a test plan and screener. While the recruiting is happening, we put together a testing script. We conduct an internal pilot study, 2 days of testing for a regular, standard size study, 2 days, 8 to 10 participants, and then about a week to 10 days to provide a very in-depth findings and recommendations report. The findings are prioritized by severity of the issue, and the recommendations are very actionable and prioritized based on the severity of the issue as well. I'll go through the quant quicker. Quantitative is when you include a much larger sample size. Online survey is one of the most common ones. We usually don't use them just independently, even though they can be used independently, but we usually combine them with other types of studies that we're doing. You can gauge customers, pain points, satisfaction rates, feelings, attitudes, and things like that. You can use it as a participant screener, study redirection. So there are many ways you can use an online survey. Online card sorting, which helps you with content hierarchy and organization. It's another online testing tool. I won't get into too much detail, but basically you give them a randomized list of, it could be your product list, menu, structure, navigation on the left, and then they can drag and drop into a category on the right-hand side. It's really cool. By categorizing, they can show us where they would look for that information. And then once you have a solid structure or a menu list, then you can do a tree test, which is another online study in which you ask them to find different pieces of content, and then the results kind of show where they started, how far they went, did they go the wrong direction, right direction, and things like that. They're really cool online studies. And then there are a lot more sophisticated tools, online tools that combine qual and quant. So not only you're gathering statistically significant data, you're also, the tool allows you to ask, kind of qualitative types of questions as well. Similar timeline and deliverable. The only difference is we need to keep these types of studies open for about 10 days to gather enough responses. Usually you're looking for anything higher than 50, like 100 to 200 would be the ideal. Heuristic evaluation is when we don't involve the user. As experts, we go in and we select different screens. We provide findings and recommendations based on that. And a lot of times it can inform the upcoming research and what needs to be tested. So a lot of times I get questions that, 4 to 6 weeks is a long time. We work with Agile, in Agile environment. Can we incorporate research? The answer is yes. We just need to streamline the process and do the planning ahead of time. I have done this before for Toyota. Every 2 weeks, we conducted a study. So it's a lot simpler. You only focus on a small portion, do a quick study, 4 to 5 participants at a time, rather than a 50, 60 slide report. You just do a list of, high level findings and recommendations. So the team has enough time to incorporate those and then come back with the next phase to be tested. What we do with the findings and recommendations, I did touch upon that. So the findings will be prioritized based on the severity of the issue. And for each issue, we will have actionable recommendations. So usually, especially if they start earlier in the design rather than post-launch, the majority of the recommendations are quick fixes. They can also, so these types of studies not only help us to identify the issues, they can also inform the experience design. So a lot of times the user comes out with an idea that nobody on the team ever thought about. So my clients usually include that in a future phase. We can also conduct benchmarking studies. You can either benchmark against your own website as you're going through the redesign, or a benchmark with competitors.
Sharon, you're down to about 3 minutes.
Okay. All right. I think I have a few more slides. and I'll go through them quick. UX design is not the priority on our list, but I have a few clients that always come and ask for it. So we do have the user-centered design process. We can start with stakeholder interviews, business requirement, personas, sitemap, wireframes, or interactive prototypes. So that's another service that we provide. I do have the 2 slides that we saw, and these I created because of the conversation that we had last week. So the difference between UX research and market research, and I mean, I'll let you take a quick glance at it, but they're very different, right? So market research usually looks at what people want, what their attitude is, versus, UX research is, is it useful for people, or how they behave when they're interacting with the product, and things like that. It's really like the UX research is really focused on the user and their experience as they go through, interact with the product, versus, obviously market research informs a lot of other areas, including marketing. But they're always important, both important, complementary, and better together. And I think this is the last, because Michael, you brought it up last time about UX versus UI. A lot of people do confuse them. These images I borrowed from, some of my colleagues posting on LinkedIn, but, UX research has a lot to do, again, with the user experience of the product, versus UI is more of a, the design and the look and feel of it. And this is funny. I just thought, it's a little mean, but, it could be the most beautiful design, the greatest idea, very super unique, but until you let the user start actually using it, you won't know if it's going to be a good user experience or not necessarily. So again, both are important, two different sets of skills. And
love it. I love the picture with the rabbit ear in the guy's eye. Yeah,
that's really cute.
we have time for a couple of questions. Do folks want to just chime in, or?
Yeah, I have a question.
Good. Victor.
Hi, Sharon. That was a great presentation. That really clarified a lot of things that that I guess we always wonder about. And so I guess my question is, the chart you had about the UX research and the market research, right? Mm-hmm. So is it fair to say that the UX research is, UX should be an actualization of the market research, right? Because you start with the market research, it tells you what the customers want, how they want it,
exactly,
and hopefully design a site that provides that.
Mm-hmm.
So your job is to say, does it meet the requirements? Is that fair?
Exactly. So market research, we always start with market research, right? Or the client starts with the market research, then they come up with the idea that needs to go to market. Then that's UX research tests that. So yes, absolutely.
Okay, thanks.
Tagging off of Victor's question, as a market researcher, on the front end, Sharon, do you have partnerships with companies that do the standard concept evaluation for new product ideas? Or could be concept evaluation or conjoint, and then on the back end, once you've done all your work on the UX side, then you go to a quantitative phase where over time you evaluate the extent to which those user benefits and features are realized in the marketplace on the quantitative side. So kind of bookending concept evaluation, then follow on evaluation of the product itself. Do you have partnerships with either of those kinds of research activities?
I don't, and the reason behind that is because of my client base, right? They're larger, right? So they usually have their own agency of record. They usually have their own part, so they already handle everything before they come to me on that side. So I don't, but I've recently started working with startups. Startups that have the budget. Unfortunately, if it's a very small budget project, they don't pay for research. Just people skip research because you can go to market without research, right? Not that it's the best idea, but they do. So generally, my clients have those types of partnerships, and they manage all of that before they come to me. Or if they want me to include the concept testing as a part of the UX research, we can do that as well.
Okay. Just a plug, I'd be happy to help you on either one of those. I've done a lot of work on
Sure.
What's a typical budget for either qualitative or quantitative?
Okay, thank you. So I was meant to mention that. So for a standard study that takes 4 to 6 weeks, our rate is anything from 25 to 30K. Whereas for the same study, again, because there's so much involved, there's at least 3 team members involved in each one, and partnerships with other types of firms. The same type of study, if you go to a much larger firm, is anything from 45 to 55K. So our rates are very competitive when it comes to that. But when it comes to like doing agile, doing simpler types of studies, and that's where the customization comes. We go in and we learn about the budget restrictions, and we provide a customized approach that matches their needs.
And that's still the 25 to 30?
No, then we can reduce it, but the scope is going to be reduced. So
Okay.
We reduce the number of participants. We reduce everything gets reduced to match their.
Right. So what is a standard customized? I'm sorry. What is a typical customized study cost?
25 to 30K.
Oh, it's still okay.
That's a typical one. Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Great. Thank you so much. Very informative. I learned a lot. I'm sure other members of other attendees did as well. We do have 20 people, and 19 left, 19 introductions left. So I'll give a minute and a half to each. I did drop in the chat the order in which folks showed up. So John Parsons, Shay, Charles, Michael Korn, and I will start my timer. I'm also going to change it to speaker mode so that the person who is speaking has the full screen, at least on the recording. So if everybody else would go on mute until it's your turn, I'd appreciate that. And John Parsons, take it away.
Thanks, Michael. John Parsons. I'm with Into Ideas. We're a video marketing studio, but I also am a ghostwriter, and the two tend to overlap. Our video business is mostly content for small business. We do remote video capture, which lowers the cost quite a bit. But I have a habit now at TRN of sharing something new with every week. So to keep my streak alive, the streams between video and book writing keep mixing. And so I wrote a book about AI last year, and I'm writing a new one this year. So AI seems to be on everybody's mind for some reason. So in the chat, I put a YouTube link from Mark Brownlee. He's got a zillion followers, so you're going to have to wade through the ads that Google puts on front of his video. But it's biggest problem with AI. It's a very measured, very sane look at generative AI and how to sort of don't let your hair get on fire over AI with every news report. So watch the video, take a deep breath. It's actually going to be fine. So that's basically it. We do video, very affordable video for small businesses, for authors, for people who do want to promote their business, their book, their services, etc.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, and good timing. All right. Next up would be, who's next up?
Shay.
Shay, take it away.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Shay Charles. The name of my company is Brand Plus Design. I'm a branding expert. I do brand strategy. I'm also a graphic designer, brand designer, and I do some web design on the side. So I provide branding services mostly to premium, luxury, and lifestyle companies, also fashion brands. But I work with startups in different industries, ranging from media to fintech. I actually did some work for Nike recently. I've done some work for Disney / Fox Digital Studios. Did some brand identity work for them. Yeah, so it's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Who are you looking to meet?
Oh, I'm looking to meet, let's see, social media strategists, also just digital marketers, mostly.
All right. Yeah, I know you also work for some big brands, right? prior to you going
Yeah.
independent? Can you mention those?
Before I went independent, yeah, I worked for Kenneth Cole.
Kenneth Cole, right?
Yeah.
Very cool. Thank you so much for joining us. And if you want to come back and potentially join, let me know. All right. Next up is Michael Korn.
Good afternoon. You know the business owner who's running around crazy trying to build his business and is totally focused on building that business, and to the detriment of putting the other things off. Their financial planning. That's where I come in. That's what I do. That's what I help. I grew up in advertising, which is one of the reasons I'm here. That's my core niche of clientele. And we help business owners organize their financial world, personal planning, and business planning. I'm going to cut it short because it's a busy day here. And you can check out my website and book a meeting from my homepage if you have any questions. One thing to be aware of is 401ks and retirement plans. There's a lot going on in that world and changes, and people need to plan for retirement. The government is trying to help, but the government is not always that helpful. So there are better ways to do it than what the government is offering. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Let's chat. And I think this group is pretty neat. I've sent a couple of people here.
Cool, thank you. And you should talk to Victor about the program that he's representing. I think it's the R&D tax credits might be good for some of your clients.
Yeah, I'm
Right.
pretty familiar with that area.
Okay, cool. Next up, Mark Herre.
I am Mark Herre. Thank you, Michael. And I currently offer a performance-based model for my digital marketing company, for digital marketing companies. I do SEO for SEO companies. I increased my clientele when I decided I could even do better than that. Instead of just doing SEO for SEO companies, meaning I like to get behind the scenes and help them sell their SEO packages better, fulfillment better, and lead in better, and have a better proposal leading in, which is SEO is strictly a door opener for any digital marketer who wants to grow. But what I've done lately is I now offer white label SEO for white label SEO companies, which means I am in a big crunch to connect with more lead generation companies that want to sell SEO and maybe even offer a white label solution to attract more digital marketing companies. And so fulfillment is big that way, and I can grow, and I have a scalable model to help businesses do what they want to do and grow. I'll just put it in the chat right now. Just connect with me on LinkedIn. We'll do some one-to-ones. I'm really good at being able to help you with referrals if you want.
Yeah.
And that's about it.
Mark is a referral master. All right, thank you so much, Mark. Next up,
Okay, I have some ideas for you if you want to reach out to me.
Okay.
Andre Archimbaud.
Hello, all. It's nice to be back. Last time I was here, I had to keep my mouth shut about what I was up to and what was next. So I'm delighted to be here for the first time under the official auspices of Otis.ai. We are a performance marketing platform for digital media. We run Google, Meta, TikTok, Pinterest, LinkedIn, Amazon campaigns, predominantly for e-commerce. About 85% of our business is e-commerce. For those who've known me for as long as Michael or Rajiv or Victor, for that matter, Victor and I think go back the longest on this call. Fairly similar. The work we do is fairly similar to my work at Reach Local. However, much more efficient and much more focused on e-commerce. We take a unified ad budget, load it into our platform, and a combination of about 80% of our heavy lifting is done by our AI, and then the last mile or so is managed by our crack performance marketing engineers. So if anybody would like to talk, I put my details in the chat. Would love to catch up with anybody.
Yeah, and we now need to update your listing.
Indeed. I emailed you about that.
Okay, wonderful. Let's see. Great to have you back. David Libby.
Hey, everybody. Hey, Michael, thanks very much for hosting this. Excuse me. I'm still stuck on Shay. Used to work at Kenneth Cole. Now that website looks like it's like clothing my daughter's boyfriends. It used to be I was the one that was wearing those clothes. I love that brand so much. So awesome. So good to see you here. Hey, everybody. I'm David Libby. And if is anyone watching the HBO show Succession?
Oh, it's great.
It's great, right? But the PR people on that show, they're putting the rest of us PR people to shame. We're not all like that. At least we're not like that anymore, I hope. Anyways, I've been a PR person for close to 30 years. And me and my other fellow PR pros watching that show, I know we're all just going, oh no, really? Did you just say that? Did you just say, what did he, no spoilers, no spoilers. Anyways, watch the show if you haven't watched it. That last episode is pretty rocking. And we are looking for B2B technology companies that need public relations, content, analyst relations, or agencies that want to add PR, content, analyst relations to their belt. Happy to do that too. We do a lot of work for other agencies. And what else can I tell you, Michael? I think that's pretty much it. And
Where are you?
Where am I? I am in the San Francisco Bay Area. Not too far.
Right. This is not your typical background, different room or something.
Yeah, this is our living room.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
this is real.
It's a real background. Well,
I don't play the piano for real, but it's a real background.
Very cool. All right. Let's see. Haim.
Hi, I'm Haim. I'm a business and life coach. I help people get what they want from life, and the way I do it is kind of unique. I don't give advice. I don't tell people what to do. I just tell them what to work. Which is mean there is a lot of principle in life, and we don't pay attention to that. For instance, everything in life, in business, is time and activity. What we need to learn is how to work with the time, how to use the time, not manage time, not control time. What we need to manage and control is activity. When you decide on activity, now you give the time. So now you learn to work with the time. So for me, what I'm looking for people that looking to break the glass ceiling, they are stuck, they're not moving for some reason, yeah, or they want to be more than they are. And there is many ways to do that. It just sometimes you don't know about that. So sit down, let's sit down for talk, no charge, and then decide if it's for you or not. That's what I'm offering.
Thank you very much. And it looks like you have the world behind you.
Yes.
All right. All right. Let's see. Moving on. Rajiv. Are you with us? I know you.
Yeah, I'm right here. I'm right here.
Right.
I thought I was going to head out, but my phone needs to charge. Anyway, So yeah, nice to meet you all. As you can tell from my Zoom background, I'm an assassin. Yes, you heard me. I'm an assassin. I'm an assassin for hire. What I do is I take out, kill, destroy, delete, eradicate, obliterate all that nastiness, all those lies, all those nasty, wicked rumors that haters are spreading about good people. And the reason why I do this is because all that nastiness and rumors is keeping good people like you away from good businesses like you. And that's a wrong that needs to be righted. And that's the reason why I do what I do. We have a success guaranteed model. So if the outcome is not realized in the forecasted time frame, usually 90 to 120 days, you get your money back. And my ask from the group is to meet with trusted advisors to millionaires and billionaires. I don't want to meet millionaires and billionaires. I'm not opposed to it, but I'd rather meet their advisors. So if anyone knows any advisors to millionaires and billionaires, please send them my way, especially millionaires and billionaires with problems. Those are the people I want to meet. So back to you, Michael.
Right. So anybody in the entertainment space is probably a good target. All right. Thank you. Jason Ciment.
Hi there. So I run an agency called Get Visible. We're based in Phoenix, technically, even though we just gave up our office and now we are virtual and I do not have to pay rent anymore. So we have 15 people. We started back in 2005. We do the whole digital marketing thing, from building websites to getting them ranked and doing social media and all that kind of stuff. And we're about to introduce a program called Invincible Income, which is just a nice, for all you marketers, it's just a BS way of packaging something, which I think sounds interesting. And we're gonna, for the first time in 15 years, actually do outbound marketing. All our business has been referral based, and I'm very excited for that. The second thing is a e-commerce platform called Adricom. It stands for the American Dream Company. It's something that I am a part owner in, that started back in 2003, competes with Shopify and Magento, to name a couple, or WooCommerce on the low end. So if you have clients that really don't like their e-commerce setup and would love to have a better partner, the solution is a hybrid between the software and the expertise that comes with building out e-commerce stores. It enables you, because the price points are low, to make money referring business, like considerable. So excited to be here as always. Thanks.
Thank you. Always with the Batman poster over the right shoulder.
Puzzle. COVID puzzle.
I never knew that.
It's from the 1960s show. It's most of the actors from the show.
Wow. All right. Chris Esposito.
Thanks, Michael. Hi, everyone. For those of you I haven't met, my name is Chris Esposito. I run sales and marketing for a company called Studio Labs, which is a New York City-based custom development agency. We've been in business for 20 years building web, mobile, and software products. Over those 20 years, we have literally built thousands of different digital products, from custom e-commerce sites, NFT platforms, OTT streaming video platforms, right through enterprise software. Someone like Jason had just mentioned, for the first 18 years of our existence, we were a 100% referral business, very successful referral business, averaging over 40 word-of-mouth referrals a year for the past 12 years. I came on board a couple of years ago to develop an outbound sales strategy. And our main focus today, based on our experience, is startup software companies. We like the funded ones better, but we go after those agencies or those companies, and we're looking to do the architecture, an MVP platform in somewhere between 4 and 8 months to market, and the maintenance for a number of years. So the best referrals for me are CEOs, founding CEOs, co-founders, CTOs of startup tech companies. So thank you very much for the time, Michael.
Absolutely. Do you ever do any UX research or hire UX researchers?
Sharon's on my mind.
All right, there you go.
Thank you, Michael and Chris.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I think it'd be a good potential collaboration there. Stash, or one of our newest members. Welcome.
Thanks, Michael. And it's funny that until you told me, I thought I joined. Hey everyone, I'm Stash Harrison. I'm the CEO of Market Intent. It's an AI and data company. We're democratizing market research and analytics. What used to cost hundreds of thousands of dollars are now available just for thousands. An example of this is we look at brands, all of their competitors and marketing campaigns, and recommend counter campaigns or strategy to that. And that's done from machine learning and AI and vast amount of data. The ask is we're looking for advisors in the company. I am also exploring potentially bringing on a COO. And we have a commission structure of 20% if anyone help us to get an agency client or larger clients. Currently, we have startup clients, but that's not worth it for the commission. So anyway, that's it. I think I have, yeah.
And the background, is there an explanation for the high calorie background?
That's, if you guys are in New York City, go to the Lower East Side. It's a place called Supermoon, which I think I should start getting referral free to these guys because I love them. I am right on the corner of Ludlow and Rivington, and they're a block away. I think each of those croissants is roughly 1,500 calories.
There you go.
It's that good.
All right. Don't eat too many of them. Let's see. Sharon, you went. Russ Bruzzano.
Hi, Michael. Thank you. Can I share my screen? Would that be okay?
Absolutely.
So I'm Russ Bruzzano, RGB Design Group, and I do graphic design and website design. And what I thought I'd do today, like I just find it's easier just to show people what I do than try to tell them, is just show you a couple of designs that I did. The first one I'm showing is a poster design I did for a company out of Germany called Bruker. And this was actually a poster. So everything you see here is an illustration, with the exception of these little samples at the lower right-hand corner. Those were actual images. But from the microscope, oh, there it is, to this little product here, this is their product. And in order to do that illustration, they basically sent me schematic, because this product didn't exist at the time. And they said, can you actually create a 3D version of what our product will look like? And I did it, and it actually, if you saw the product, it looks exactly like that. So from a technical illustration point of view, this is kind of the kind of work I do and the quality of work I do. This other one. So this is a company, Coxum, they're out of South Korea, and they had no brand identity. And they asked me to do a couple of print ads for them. And I said, okay, so what's your font, what style you use? And they said, we don't know. So I created the ads for them, but when I did the ads, I also did this guideline for them to say, anytime you use your ads or somebody else other than me does your ads for you, make sure they're done this way. So the guideline starts with the home page. That is their product. Table of contents, of course. And then I start getting into, these are your Pantone colors, right? So always make sure you use them. And if you want to break it down to CMYK, you can do that. I developed their font. They had no font.
Russ, I got to cut you off. We're at time, and we got a lot of folks.
Okay, I'm out. Okay, perfect.
Yep.
That's good.
Nice work. Beautiful work.
Sure. That's the ads, by the way.
All right. Who is up next? Scott Lange. Scott, take it away.
Yep. Thank you, Michael. Good to be back. I haven't really changed my focus in terms of marrying brands with investment or alliances, partnerships, sponsorships. The principal client I have is an affiliate of MasterCard and Equifax called Marcaz, where I did a presentation a few weeks back. For those of you, it's a fintech dashboard that goes beyond managing your financial health to also provide business resources, access to capital, and a secure vault for all your business papers. And then in addition, I'm working on the naming rights for Manhattan Center, which most people know as Hammerstein Ballroom down at 34th Street and 8th Avenue. The banking crisis didn't help, the little one anyway, the mini banking crisis. But they were a high potential target. I have a new client, which I have an NDA that I really can't talk about, but it's about a major attraction in New York that is being considered. And I am working also on another project, which would be an expert witness. So that's just my background is 40 years in the marketing, advertising, and event marketing, promotions, business, sports, and entertainment. My give is that I'm often happy to give advice based on those years of experience, and my get is anybody that refers me to a client or an opportunity, I pay a 10% commission. And I want to thank everybody here for the opportunities and working with you and getting together those of you that I have. Thank you, Michael.
Absolutely. Thank you. Okay, that was Scott. Leslie Lawton.
Hi. It's sunny and breezy in the Bay Area. That's where I'm at. I'm a copywriter and creative director, and I have experience in almost all business sectors, from hospitality, a lot of that, to healthcare, to retail, and on from that, technology. I'm currently reformulating my own business to help companies tell their sustainability stories truthfully and fearlessly. I'm still trying to figure out what's the most motivating. I've been watching, David Libby's been watching Succession. I've been watching Extrapolations on Apple TV, and it's pretty scary. It's about what happens if we don't actually reach net zero by 2050 and get well on our way there by 2030. So, do you know any sustainability consultants or directors or C-level sustainability people? I believe they're feeling overwhelmed, frustrated, and compromised, and I'm here to help with that. Not so much of gathering data and metrics, but really crafting stories and creative work that tells their story, again, truthfully and honestly. This way they can inspire and galvanize all their stakeholders, and that includes their board directors. That's it for me. Thanks.
Absolutely. Thank you. And I think David Libby, you mentioned you connected me with somebody just a couple hours ago or an hour ago that is in that world.
Stefan.
Yeah, it might be a good person.
He's already referred me to somebody terrific.
Okay. Well, I think, yeah, that Mr. Stefan might be another good.
He couldn't make it
connection.
today. He'll probably make it next week.
Okay, wonderful.
Yeah, he'd be a good
Leaetitia.
person for Leslie to meet too. Actually, you're right, Michael.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'll introduce you
Leaetitia.
Leslie to Stefan.
You're up,
Yes.
Leaetitia Long. Good.
Yes, hi everybody. I'm Leaetitia Longuefosse. I'm based in New York and I am with Facility. Facility is a French startup. It's a B Corp for those of you who know what it is. And we have developed and we are distributing a system that can be added to any existing website to make it accessible to people with disabilities. So why is it important? Because according to the CDC, roughly 20 to 25% of the population has a disability. So if your website is not accessible, it means that you are only addressing 75 to 80% of the population. I'm going to give you a few examples. So we have 23 one-click filters and also the possibility to create your totally personalized filter. Among the one-click filter, we have visual, motor, and cognitive impairment. Visual impairment could be, for example, if you are colorblind, we are going to recolor every single pixel of the website that's in a spectrum of colors that your eye can distinguish. If you have a cataract issue, we will do dark background. If you have Parkinson's disease, we will increase the clickable zone on the website, etc., etc. Why I'm here for? Because I'm always learning a lot. Like it's my second time and I really love this group. And if you know anyone that is interested in reaching a wider audience with customizable websites, let me know.
Thank you so much. And I apologize for misspelling your first name in the list here.
That's okay.
And I think you and Sharon might want to talk. I'm not sure how often Sharon's clients run into the issue of trying to appeal or work with users who have disabilities, but certainly an area of interest potentially. Victor Lee.
Thanks, Michael. Hi, everybody. I'm Victor Lee. I'm very excited to be here today because we just launched an amazing new product just last week. And it's actually interesting that Sharon was the spotlight today because we tackle a similar problem, which is, people spend a ton of money trying to figure out what their website should look like, what it should say. And the question always then becomes, did they actually do a good job of executing against the research and against the planning? So I think Roger was asking some interesting questions earlier. And there's been a lot of discussion about AI. So we launched an AI-powered service that will assess your website, and we will give you a score as to how well you are telling your story. So let me give you I'm going to share the screen really quickly. This is a scorecard for a First Commerce Bank. And so we judged on these 5 characteristics you can see down here, right? Narrative structure, customer focus, emotional resonance, benefits over features, use of language. And this company gets a 5.5 on a score of 10, right? So they're not doing a very good job. Even worse, their competitor, the Bank of Princeton, is doing better than they are. So we just launched this product last week. We're getting a lot of really interesting traction on this. And what we would like to do is partner with everybody on this call to see how we can work together to help you and your clients provide a better experience, as Sharon does, and better content. I think our first meeting along these lines is with Rajiv on Thursday, but we are offering free scores. We will give free scores thanks to the power of AI to any website that you send me. And then there's a lot more that we can upsell if they really want to understand what goes behind the score. So we'd love to talk to everybody. And Leslie, thank you for that comment. I think AI is going to change the world, and we want to change it with them. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, I think it's great for writers because it helps them, present something to potential clients about how they can improve their story on their site.
Exactly
right. Roger Brooks, and then Faith.
What's the name of that company, Victor?
We call it Story Quotient.
Story Quotient. Good name.
Yeah, so it's an SQ, like your EQ, IQ.
Take it away, Roger.
Okay. Well, one of the ways to think about what I do in a very simple way is I do what Sharon doesn't in terms of marketing research. So like, as I mentioned earlier in my question, the front end, the concept evaluation or conjoin, to really understand what product or product ideas really have the best appeal and have the best opportunity. And you can do that by looking at a number of different executions. And that actually also extends to brand names and corporate identity. So I've done a fair amount of work there as well. And then, of course, in the back end, where you have an established product and you want to measure how successful it is against competitors, there's a typical kind of studies called AANU, Awareness, Attitude, and Usage Studies. It's a very comprehensive look at how your brand and product is performing against the competition, against key attributes that are most important to the marketplace. It's kind of a standard kind of research. And so whenever I hear the word product or brand, I get a little bit excited because those have been my internal clients, like LinkedIn. The worldwide brand team was my internal client. So anything that relates to understanding your product performance or your brand is a partnership that I would definitely look forward to speaking with any or all of you about in terms of how we can complement each other.
Very cool. Thank you so much, Roger. And Roger's worked for some big brands like LinkedIn. Okay, Faith Tomases.
Can you hear me?
Faith. Yep.
Okay, hi. I'll be quick, but that's my specialty. I'm a message maker, and I help people articulate what they want to say and then say it for them, either in terms of copywriting for web and print. And also I have very strong business in name development. So that's my strength, is getting to the point quickly. And I'm interested in meeting anyone who needs help with any kind of language, particularly graphics designers. That's it.
And Faith came up with the name of the parking company Icon, which is iconic in New York City anyway. All right. And did I miss anybody? If not, then I will give myself a minute and a half. So my name is Michael Bendit. My core business is doing sales representation for software development teams. If you know any programmers, you know that they typically are not very outgoing. They're not necessarily comfortable with connecting with people. They want to focus on the task and the development, and they can be very, very good at what they do. My job is to bridge that gap between customers and their skill set. So I match teams with projects that fit their capabilities, so that the client is happy and that the team is happy and the team can deliver against the requirements. So a lot of those decisions come down to things like the platform. Now this is oftentimes in web or mobile. So a platform might be, WordPress or Magento or Shopify or some other platform. It could be a programming language, of which there are many. And another dimension is budget. and budget is usually driven by how much of the work is being done onshore versus offshore. So I have teams that are all domestic. I have teams that are all offshore, and then I have teams that I call dual shore, with whom I do a lot of work. And some of my best leads, and always looking to meet digital agencies that have run out of capacity or come across opportunities that they can't handle because they don't have the internal expertise. And those digital agencies can be anywhere from one person, a designer, up to, let's say, 20 people. It is exactly 6 o'clock on the East Coast. Now's a great time to download the chat. If you click on the chat, the 3 buttons on the bottom left, at least on Windows, the first menu item is Save Chat. That'll save it to your Zoom folder, which is usually in your documents. I will, of course, I've been recording this and will be posting it over the weekend. We do have some upcoming presentations. Let's see. Lynn Lavender is speaking next week. And the following, starting in May, we have May 2nd open. May 10th is taken, and then thereafter it's open. So if you've got an idea, Haim, you have a question? You're on mute. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to present.
All right, let's talk.
Okay.
Shoot me an email. Or ping me on LinkedIn. All right, wonderful. Thank you so much, everyone, and have a wonderful evening.